Welcome to Aldridge's How Do You Do How-Tos. In this episode, I'll be answering the question, how does a typical day's schedule for my student look? Well, a typical school day has two main segments, independent work times and live sessions. Let's start with live sessions. Live sessions, actually live stands for live in virtual environment. That means that your student is going to be logging into a Google Meet, a Google Hangout, or a Zoom in order to engage with a live virtual session. It could include instruction with me. It can include interaction with peers. It's a time for them to listen to instruction, to ask questions and receive feedback. And also, some of those sessions are going to be small group instruction time where it's not with the entire class. And sometimes it's going to be one-on-one conferences where it's just your student and me getting together. All of these have one thing in common. If it's live, it means that it's in person and real time. The next segment includes independent practice. This refers to any assignment that I give your student that doesn't have me there with them. That could be any kind of project, task, activity, instructional goal that they have to complete on their own. I've given you just I know that not a short list, but a list of things that could include. Maybe it includes Nearpod tasks or virtual task cards that I've put inside Google Classroom, weekly writing skills, mentor sentences, independent reading goals that they set, and going through their reading log and logging through their independent reading, grammar skills, Google slide practice, or even web-based practice like Moby Max or Freckle, things like that. So those are the two segments that really make up your student's day. Well, what does a typical schedule look like? The school day is going to begin at 8 in the morning, okay, with a live morning meeting. Our live morning meeting is going to be a place for us to all come together uniformly and get to know one another, a place for me to give announcements, to just outline what the day will be and to really start the day off on a positive note. So 8 o'clock, live morning meeting. Next, groups will log into assigned virtual environments or live sessions for math. Math sessions could be small groups. It could be a large group that has a mini lesson, and then the teacher breaks them up into small groups with a practice. That just depends on how the lesson is set up. Once those live math lessons are over, then students are going to have a little bit of time to complete either some math practice or maybe a block of time to read their independent reading text for their reading goal, or it could be that they're completing another weekly task. There may be some time in between math and the next segment of ELA or English Language Arts where your student has some time to work on some independent work. Around 10 o'clock, students will log in again to a live session on grammar before we break into smaller live session groups. Okay. During live groups, the teacher is going to meet live with designated students for just a short time. And while I'm meeting with those students live face-to-face, then other students may be working on independent reading responses, say in Google Slides. After the reading live session ends, then we're going to join another live session that's just our read aloud. And then I'll walk into the writing segment as well during that live session, spreading out the mini lesson for the students, laying out what their goals are for the day, and then possibly meeting with some of them in conferences or one-on-one before we end the day. Near 12:30, all students, just like in morning meeting, will come back together and join the last live session. This will be for me to wrap up the day, to answer questions, to give feedback, to give review, and to make announcements, maybe for that day or the next day or the coming several days. So you may be thinking, wait a minute, you didn't tell me when any breaks are, and you didn't include lunch. What? Well, because there are times when your student will not be live, I want you to encourage them to use that time to take short 3 to 5 minute breaks. I really discourage you from allowing them to take like 30 minutes because really, we just don't have time in the schedule for that. And they really do need to be working on the practice that we're going to be giving them. So a 3 to 5 minute break would be great. Grab a water, have go to the bathroom, things like that. That's fine. Lunch. Online sessions will end at about 12:45. This gives a natural break for lunchtime right there. I know it's a little later than normal, but 12:45 is a reasonable time for lunchtime. It's not like 4. So, if your student finds themselves just a little bit peaky in the morning time, well, you're at home. So, please feel free to offer a snack to your student, but I do want to tell you that one of my expectations during live sessions is that we are not eating and we are not drinking. Okay, so save that for when you're not live. You may be thinking, well, when is PE or recess? What about those things? Well, physical fitness is so important, especially during this time. Being physically fit is really great for our students' health. So the schedule is designed to allow your student time after 12:45 for you to flexibly arrange that for them. They can be a structured physical activity or just open recess play. That's completely up to you. It's been great sharing with you this information. If you have any more questions, you can totally reach out to me at my website through the contact form, and I'll talk to you soon.